Hello and welcome. You're in the reaction room with Rese. Today's recap is season 1, episode 129. Hey, I need a favor. Check out my playlist, and if you like my recaps, subscribe to my channel. And go ahead and like, comment, and share this video. Now let's see what's happening beyond the gates. We start off at the hospital. Ashley asks Derek to marry her, but he's very surprised. He says, "You would marry me right now? In this condition?" Ashley tells him, "I really want to be your wife, and you shouldn't be surprised how much I love you and want to spend the rest of my life with you." Over at Orphe Jeans, Naomi and Jacob run into June. She's working there as a waitress, but she's still in training. She tells them she's no longer living on the street, and she's staying in a shelter now. Nicole goes over to Martin and Smitty's house to pick up their clothing donation for charity, and Smitty tells her, "I can relate to how hard it is to forgive someone for lying to you for years." Nicole says she heard Martin was sleeping on the couch, and she asks him if he intends to forgive Martin. Smitty says, "You want me to go there, but you won't. At least I let Martin stay here." But Nicole tells him it's not the same. Eva goes over to Ted's hotel room, and he's drinking and talking to himself. He's already sloppy drunk, and she asks him, "Are you okay?" He says, "No, I am not okay." And he keeps talking about Nicole and the divorce. Eva says, "You're wasted. I think you've had enough." And she helps him walk over to the couch to lie down and take a nap. Leslie shows up at the Dupree house to tell them that she bought the house across the street after all. And she starts going on and on about the tacky things she's going to do to the house. And as she leaves, Nicole walks in, and she takes one look at Vernon and Anita and says, "Oh Lord, this can't be good." Martin tells Smitty that he misses his family, and Smitty says, "I asked for time and space." Martin says, "Okay, I won't pressure you." And then he notices that Samantha looks upset, and he asks her what's wrong. She tells him about her friend Nathan, and she says, "We almost hooked up." Eva goes over to Leslie's apartment. She says she's worried about Ted, and she tells Leslie that he drank a bottle of whiskey, and she had to help him lie down. And then all of a sudden, Leslie tells Eva that she has plans, but she won't tell Eva where she's going, and she pushes her right on out the door. Back at the Dupree house, Nicole says, "That woman is determined to make our lives a living hell." Vernon tells her not to worry, and then he calls the president of the country club board and sets up a meeting to discuss revoking Leslie's membership. Ashley convinces Derek that she's not proposing to him out of pity, so he says, "I would love to be Mr. Ashley Morgan." And then Shanice comes into the room for Derek's physical therapy, and they tell her that they're engaged. Shanice says, "Well, this is a 180 turnaround." Ashley tells her she's had time to think about it, and she realizes that she loves Derek and wants to be with him. Shanice says, "Then you have my congrats." Over at Orphe Jeans, June is mixing up food orders and dropping plates on the floor. Naomi tells her, "Everybody messes up on their first date." But June gets all upset. She thinks she's going to get fired. Martin is clearly uncomfortable having this conversation with Samantha, and she said she needs to talk to a woman. So he asked her if she talked to Nicole about it, and then Samantha says she wants to talk to her mom. The country club board agreed with Vernon and Anita, and they voted to revoke Leslie's membership. Once Ashley leaves the room, Shanice asks Derek, "Are you going to tell her, or am I?" Derek pretends like he doesn't know what she's talking about. She says, "I can tell that you're making real improvement." And then she asks him, "Are you getting feeling back in your legs?" Derek says no. And then Shanice tells him, if anything changes, Ashley has a right to know. Ted is still sleeping it off, and Leslie knocks on the door. She comes in and starts taking off her clothes, and she seduces Ted into the bedroom. And that's how the show ended. If you ask me, she took advantage of someone who was under the influence. And you can't tell me that Eva didn't know Leslie was going to head right over there when she told her about Ted. Anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out my playlist, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.